So I've got another new student today, little baby boy. He's 4.5 months, 5 months old. So this is his first day with me today, so he's a bit of a handful. Typical collie pup, they are a handful. It's a case of introducing him to as much as possible. Not necessarily the physical side of covering distance and massive long walks. Can't do that, he's too young. And his bones are too soft, so you'll ruin his joints doing that. It's more the mental side with most pups, but certainly with a collie pup. So lots of new experiences, mentally stimulate and let him know how to react to things. So very often a pup will react to something that's moving fast. Somebody running by you, somebody on a bike, cars, they will react to that. That's because naturally anything moving fast in the dog's world is cause for concern, and they will naturally react to it. So what we need to do is desensitize them to that, and the fact that we don't react to it, we don't talk to them, we just walk. We remain completely calm and we just walk. That will desensitize them and teach them that no, we don't react to that. Dogs will copy. Dogs copy body language. So I use my dogs because they can cover a lot more ground on the learning side than what I can just on my own. Dogs copy each other. It's all body language. It's not vocal, it's body language. So that's the main thing with the pups. Get them out there, introduce them to as much as possible. So short walks along the road so they get used to the traffic. No matter what they do on that lead, you just keep walking slowly, confidently, purposefully. This way. This way. Lovely. I was doing a lot of work this morning with little pup man and Rio this morning. Rio's my other collie, and because he's super obedient, I did lots of this way this morning. So Charlie here, he's really picked up on that, which is great. This way. It's Frank flying by. So lots of this way work. While they're young like this, they're not brave enough to set off on their own. Shh. He's having a go back. They're not brave enough to set off on their own, to basically run off. They'll see other dogs, they want to go, they want to play. If you can just sort of hang around in the area, not necessarily stand still and look at them, because you don't want them to think that you're waiting for them, giving them all your attention. If you just hang around, walk backwards and forwards, then when the dog gets his attention back to you, that's when you walk away and you say this way, and that's how we teach the recall to move away from other dogs. When you've got a pup, every dog that they meet on a walk is super interesting. They are going to want to run ahead and meet the dogs. As much as possible, it's difficult because we are very reactive to other people's behaviour when our dog goes to their dog, but as much as possible let them interact, let them socialise. It's how they learn. If you restrict them, it's always this massive big deal, huge excitement whenever they see a dog. The more they get to meet, socialise, communicate, the less interesting it all is, and the less reactive your dog will be when it sees another dog. So this morning with Rio, the main thing, because Charlie was tripped up then, because this way, because Charlie was quite bouncy, and he was certainly at that stage where there's another dog, I'm going to jump all over it. I put him with Rio. Rio won't tolerate that, so he certainly won't hurt a pup, but he won't tolerate that kind of behaviour. So Charlie needed to learn very early on that when you're with another dog, it doesn't mean you jump all over them. And he learnt that with Rio. He also learnt the recall of this way with Rio. And we walked together on the lead, so he learnt a bit better walking on the lead with Rio alongside him. So that was great work this morning. Then we got home and he mingled with all my boys. To begin with, he met Frank. He's petrified, absolutely petrified. He just lay down on the floor. And Frank, give him credit because Frank's still quite young himself and he's a bit full on, is Frank. He acknowledged that the young pup here was nervous, and he was gentle with him. He was really good with him. So ever so pleased with that, just from a personal level with Frank. So they've had that socialisation, they've had a little relax. He hasn't been to sleep yet. Obviously there's an awful lot going on in my house, all these new dogs, new environment. So I didn't expect him to sleep, but he has physically rested. and now we've come out again, and I brought him out this time with Frank and Roscoe. So the whole play thing was sorted out really with Rio. The manners and the boundaries, that was done by Rio this morning. Now I'm out with these boys. Frank will play back and he won't put boundaries in, but at the same time he'll see that rough play doesn't mean there's anything wrong. So Charlie will build his confidence with that kind of socialisation. So that's what Frank can do for him. What Roscoe will do is be completely calm and placid, so no matter where we go, what we see, what we meet, he will pick up from Roscoe's calm energy that there's nothing wrong. Also with Roscoe, if Charlie wants to play, wants to get rough, Roscoe will just completely blank him, and that's what dogs will generally do. They will blank a behaviour that they don't want, a behaviour that's unacceptable. They will very often blank it, just ignore it. They only actually address it if they have to. So Roscoe's part in all this is to let Charlie know that's not acceptable by ignoring him. And he's already picked that up, so he's sort of homing in really to Frank when he wants to have a little bit of interaction, but he's watching Roscoe every time, which we've met a couple of dogs on the walk. He runs alongside Roscoe because Roscoe's calm energy lets him know that it's fine, everything's fine. So he's really learning a huge amount. It's all about the mental stimulation with the pup, not necessarily that distance covered on a walk. It's the quality of the walk. So as much as you can, sit in parks, let the world go by, just sit and watch it all. By sitting still, the dog has to take on board what's happening. He has to absorb it and learn from it rather than just act out, react. The more movement they put into a state of mind, the higher their state of mind will be. And when they get into a heightened state of mind, they can't learn. The mind just goes. So we've got to keep them calm. So that's my work with Mr. Pup today, and now I'm going to get lots of photos because he's pretty damn cute. Alright, see you later.